Welcome to Talking Heads on USA Global TV, starring the one and only wonderful Dr. Jacalyn. It's a prestigious place where world-class influencers and experts meet, and where you'll find the most trusted advisors and coaches for all things in life and business. Visit usaglobaltv.com to sign up for our newsletter, get the value you need, and be first in line to learn about events and giveaways and other valuable content. Connect with us. Email Dr. Jacalyn at usaglobaltv.com to talk about how you can become part of USA Global TV. That's USA Global TV, where the doctor is always in.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to USA Global TV, and hello to our friends listening on Business Talk Radio. I am Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck, and I am pumped up. I am psyched. This is, I think, my fifth show today, and I just thank God. I cannot believe how blessed I am that I get to meet people from all over the world who have the most incredible stories, and I just am learning so much and just living in gratitude. So thank you to all of you. Our show today is the Business Talk Show. I have shared this stage in various forms of transformation as we have now expanded to USA Global TV from Rapping with Dr. Jacalyn. And this gentleman has been through and on this journey with me the entire time. He is my mentor, colleague, co-host, a dear friend, and an incredible, esteemed person who is out there helping people every single day. Let us welcome to the show, Mr. al.cini. Woo!
Thank you, Dr. Jacalyn. I ordered a cloudy day for today, and unfortunately, Amazon failed to deliver that. So I have a little bit of sun, but it'll gradually, it'll be setting in a little bit, and maybe I'll look a little less weird. But,
well, you're shining your light on the world, and so now the light is shining on you. So
it's very kind of you to spin it that way. I appreciate that.
Al, as you know, we've been doing this show since the very beginning, and I just realized today, USA Global TV, I think I started the company 6 months ago, and look where we are now.
Well, this is the 77th, I think.
Yes.
Business Talk Show. And, that's nothing compared to the number of programs that you've put on with all kinds of hosts and guests on all kinds of subjects. So you are to be congratulated for your creativity and your energy. You've really done quite a bit. We're all proud of you, Dr. Jacalyn.
Well, thank you so much. And of course, I couldn't have done it without you and our other team members. We've got one of our team members backstage, and she did a show with me this morning. And I have to say, she's joining us from Africa. It's 10 o'clock at night there right now. So I can't believe she's still going. So we're going to bring her out pretty quickly. But Al, I do want to spotlight you. I know we talked a little bit backstage. You don't want to talk as much about what you're doing in your career, but you want to talk about an experience that you had.
Yeah. And I appreciate the opportunity. Yesterday, in fact, Jenetta was in on this. It was the Power of Listening, I think, part 3 of the program. And Madeline Chan was our mentor, walking us through a series of breathing and vocalization exercises that I didn't expect much from. Honestly, I'm not that kind of a guy. I don't know. For some reason, I'm not. I don't know. It's kind of a confessional. The truth is, I got a great deal out of it. And I actually used many of those exercises this morning. It was great.
Well, that's one thing I love about you, that you said at the end, I didn't expect to get anything out of it.
I had very low expectations and all that. I'm just the typical Western science, detail-oriented kind of a guy who, when you tell me I'm going to do something that's kind of outside the box, I don't expect it to work. I don't know why, but it always does. And in every one of the exercises I've done throughout the Power of Listening, especially part 3, I got something significant yesterday, and it was fun. I mean, it was, and I think Jenetta is going to recommend that we do a duet, not here today, but at some point, maybe we'll go into a recording studio somewhere and do a Jacalyn Kerbeck song. So it was fun. It's a great program, The Listening Mentor, and highly recommend it to everybody who's watching and listening.
Well, thank you, Al. And we are coming out. So we actually have come out with part 5, which is a further exploration into the intuition of the heart. So you can go and book any of the Power of Listening courses on my website, my personal website, drjacalyn.com, or you can go to Eventbrite and just put in the Power of Listening. So we've got Jenetta Barry backstage. We're going to bring her out. I want to just do an intro for her. I was introduced to her through Ian Pelham Turner and Helen Ashard. Thank you so much. They brought so many wonderful people here to the platform. And Jenetta has an incredible story that she'll share with us. She's a co-host on one of our other shows, The Art of Creating Mental Health Wealth. And we explore how performing arts has a direct impact on mental health. That's one of the ways. We had an incredible comedian with us today. She can talk about that as well. And she also has created the Epiphany process and World Jenny's Day. We've got a clip that we're going to show, but we'll wait until we bring her out. So joining us live at just after 10 p.m. in the evening, let's welcome Jenetta Barry.
Hello, everybody. I'm in East Africa, so the lingua franca there is Kiswahili, so I'll say hamjambo, yote, mwote.
And we'll have to close caption that. So, but hello, welcome to that. It's great to see you.
It's wonderful to be here again. I just love the energy of these shows, and it's an honor and pleasure to be with you again.
Well, it's our honor and pleasure. And you heard Al. He talked about the Power of Listening Part 3, and you two were in the course yesterday.
Yes.
And Madeline is fantastic, as she always is. And you were able to put affirmation to nursery rhyme and then explore some of the, I want to say, I hate this word, but guttural tones, the lower vibration tones.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And you both seem to be very happy and smiling at the end, which I love.
It was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. And I got
It was good fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, very true. It was a great amount of fun. And I mean, having been a trained singer and then not sung for ages, what it helped me to understand was that I was running a story that, because I hadn't sung for ages and I'm that much older, cut out singing from now on. And I didn't even know I was running that story. So it was so lovely to bring it to light and go, oh my gosh, I've been doing that.
Fun. But you know, I want to say we've had the opportunity to talk together a couple of times now, courtesy Dr. Jacalyn, great connector that she is. And speaking of listening, of all the stories that Dr. Jacalyn has brought to light in her time broadcasting on USA Global TV, and for that, yours is one of the most powerful, one of the most inspirational stories. And I'm very excited about you sharing that with our audience today.
Well, thank you. And that opportunity to share it, if it just makes a difference to one person, that's what it's about. And the story actually begins, I had been a motivational speaker, and I realized that I was artificially helping people to feel fired up without giving them the skills and tools to do it themselves. So they were coming back after a while saying, we need another dose of Jenetta or another fix. And it was almost like I was their drug. And so I took myself away, and for a good 7 to 9 years, I started working on my intuitive side, because CEOs will tell you that their intuitive gut feeling is their most accurate part of being a business person. And again, I was wondering about it and thinking, oh, gee, this isn't working. People were coming to me depending on my intuition instead of theirs. And at that time, my greatest life test, as I was querying this again, my greatest life test happened. And one day, in trying to set safekeeping house rules, my 16-year-old daughter Jenny and I escalated into an enormous argument, and she stomped out of my room to her room to pack and leave home. And I sensed something wasn't right, and I went to look for her, and I found that she had killed herself in her bathroom.
Huh.
So what happened then was, everything went to ground zero. And prophetically, 9 months after Jenny died, I was really at my lowest of low, wishing I wasn't on this planet anymore. And I was crossing a road, and I got halfway across and realized I'd forgotten I still had choice, and that I would choose to find a way to get through this and live a new type of inspired life because of what had happened. And it wasn't easy. It was really tough. And but I studied, researched, and got to being able to create what I now call the Epiphany process, which I've worked internationally online now for 14, 15 years and helped people through terrorist attacks, self-harming teenagers, suicidal teenagers, people with eating disorders, anybody with challenges. And who hasn't got a challenge? And so that's the first part of the story. And then the second part is that we realized after some time that Jenny had died on World Mental Health Day, the 10th of October. And we now have an international day known as World Jenny's Day. And we celebrate mental health wellness through the use of the arts generally, and the performing arts, because they soften the language that's been given such a bad name, softens it. But the impact from using theatre and the arts is profound. And we're going into the third year now, and what it's done in these last 2 years takes my breath away.
Well,
wow. Amazing.
What a story. It's an incredibly powerful story, Jenetta. And I can't think of a better way to honor Jenny's memory than to try to turn this into what you've turned it into. And what I like about what you've brought to life here is instead of it being a preachy, lectury teaching moment, where you tell everybody you shouldn't do this and you shouldn't do that and you should do this and you should do that, I think you bring people to a moment where maybe they learn to make the connections they need to make to change their lives in positive ways. And maybe more than just one person, but plenty of people could reverse a course that they might be on that they don't realize they're on, all through the work that you do. And I think that those kinds of changes are such a gift, and we all thank you for that.
Yeah, I love what you said then. I think it's when one is helping other people, when you've walked the walk and talked the talk, and you talk from your experience, then you don't become preachy, because you say this way forward and this is what happened, and people go, oh wow, well, if they can do it, then I can do it. And it feels like it's their free choice, not that they have to. When I hear have to, got to, must do, should do, they're all judgment statements, and they can actually make you stay stuck for forever. So thank you for that feedback.
Sorry, you had mentioned in the beginning that if you can help one person, and someone actually has reached out. She is joining us from the UK. I'm going to put up her post. Her name is Diane, and she writes, I'm struggling, had to have one of my dogs put to sleep 2 weeks ago, lost my partner a few years ago. I'm not doing too well. I'm 79 and not many friends left.
Yeah, that's huge loss, a huge amount of loss. And my heart goes out to you, because our fur animals are like our family. So losing a partner and a dog, I can only imagine what you're going through right now, and especially at this stage of life. And, if there's anything I can do to help you through that, and if you've got another question, I'm more than happy to answer it. But I can tell you this, that even at 79, there's something meaningful that's happened within that loss, that when you get it, it's an aha moment. That's why we call this the Epiphany process. And you sit there going, oh my word. I've never looked at it that way. And if that's something you'd like to experience, you're very welcome to chat to me. And if you have other questions with regards to how to deal with that grief, well, I'm here. You're welcome.
I mean, this is a moment happening right here that is very much exactly what it is you created Jenny's Day for,
It
and
is.
what you do, and that is the, and I, I think here's an opportunity. If
we're all on the edge of our seat about the opportunity, Al.
Sorry about that. There's nothing funny about that, but every now and then Zoom will do this, or StreamYard will do this. If you're reaching that stage in your life where most of the news is bad, you get a little older and you're hearing about bad things more often. How do you recommend somebody like Diane or somebody like Dr. Jacalyn or me refocus ourselves into looking for the fewer positive things?
Yeah, it's first of all, there's the fact that one feels so isolated and alone. I likened it to being, and I can hear Diane's intensity now. You feel as though nobody understands the level of loss you're feeling because it's uniquely yours. So how could they understand? So that makes you feel even more isolated and alone than ever. I always said it felt like I was buried in a big, black, dark hole that was an emotional prison sentence, and I couldn't see a way out of it for the rest of my life. It was like a trap. And it feels very real, and part of it is real, but only part of it, because we get focused on that part of the loss. And so being able to understand that there is a way out of that deep, dark hole, but it takes application and really wanting to get out of it. That is the secret here, because some people get stuck in their comfortableness of their uncomfortableness. And then it makes it difficult to practice, because they are skills and techniques that you learn and you practice, and then you find each day those sparks of light start coming in more and more and more, and you start lighting up. And it's entirely possible. And it does, I mean, to be where you are and mostly on your own, it feels so overwhelming. I can just imagine, Diane, but there is light there, and it is possible. And I'm living proof of that.
Well, we're behind the scenes. I'm sure Dr. Jacalyn's working on making a connection so that Diane can maybe have a personal conversation with you. But for Diane and so many other people out there that are dealing with loss and coping with changes in their lives they feel they have no control over, maybe you can describe the Epiphany process and how that works and how that helps people like Diane and all the rest of us.
Yes, certainly. The thing with the Epiphany process that blew me away when I did my research and study was understanding that we don't realize it, but when we're in a place of feeling a loss or out of sorts or very different to the rest of the world, we're actually only seeing half of the truth, half of who we are. We're in a world that operates in cycles. The noise coming out my mouth right now in decibels of cycles, the electricity that's working to give us all this today operates in cycles. Everything around us is cyclical. And when you study a cycle scientifically, it requires equal amount of positive and negative charge. If you take the negative charge out of electricity, it's disempowered. And yet we've been told from 1952, actually, we started being told in how to get out of the nightmare of the Second World War was to eliminate all negative thought, word, and deed. So if you take it in terms of electricity, if you take out all negative charge out of a cycle. So what's happened is the more we try and be positive without understanding the value of the negative and what's happened, the more we polarize from a place of balance, from the center balance. So what the Epiphany process helps one to do is to take the equal amount of gain in the negative as there really is loss. So it's not being Pollyanna and say, oh no, it's all right. and there's no loss. The loss is there, and it needs to be honored and embraced and understood and held. But once you've got that, and you can see the equal amount of gain in the positive, in the negative of what's happened, and at the same time, we call it the simultaneous synchronistic happening. At the same time, you can see where equally there's equal amount of loss in the positive of what's happening or you're dealing with as much as there is gain. And when you can see both, it creates a balance and brings the polarities into center. And suddenly you get this open-hearted, it happens in a nanosecond. And I watch my clients or hear my clients going, can sense them often on an intuitive level where they've shifted on a conscious and an unconscious level in every cell of their body. And they're going, oh, wow, I've never seen it that way. And I feel so much lighter. And they start describing where in their body that lightness is. And in science, that's a photon. Photon means light in Greek. So you've created a photon inside your body, and that's an epiphany moment. And it is so liberating.
That's what I think is really, I was going to ask you, Dr. Jacalyn, because I know you work with people who, a lot of people I think believe that if you suffer for years with a sense of loss, with depression, with a feeling that things are never going to be okay, that you've got to work for the same number of years in order to correct that. And so what a lot of people think is, in order for me to get out of this hole, I've got a lot of climbing to do. And it's daunting to think that I even have to start to do that, because I can't imagine that climb out of this hole that I'm in. What I love about the word epiphany, though, is it's like fumbling around in the dark for a light switch that you can't see. When you find it, all of a sudden the light is on, and it's an instantaneous transition from what could be years of suffering to a whole different life that can happen as quickly as that once you start looking for it.
I love that analogy. It is just perfect, a perfect analogy. And you've hit it on the head. What takes weeks, months, years with other modalities. And that's what was pulling me down, was like parts of things worked and parts didn't. But this being scientific is so accurate. So I have teenagers getting out of bed who were writing suicide notes and not washing and self-harming. They're out of bed by usually about the third session, starting to talk about possibilities. And by the 9th, 10th, depending of where their charges are, starting to talk about a future and a sense of purpose. And in fact, in the clip, I'm going to share this. In that clip that Dr. Jacalyn will be showing a little bit later, there are 2 young people in that clip. And the one was what I've just described, what wouldn't get out of bed. He's now so qualified and working so successfully. And the other, that's Alistair White. And we have permission to talk about them, because that's the other thing that happens when you have these epiphany moments. You just want to tell the world that this possibility is there and share where you've been and where you've got to. And the other one is Larissa Allen. She was suicidal and had a very severe eating disorder, and she's now a school teacher. And there are 2 fine examples of how they turned their lives around fairly swiftly, because they now have the tools to do it themselves. I get teased actually by my existing clients who say, the problem with you, Jenetta, is you keep on losing clients. And I do, because they're learning the skills and I'm not the guru anymore. I've never been the guru. And they go off and they can do it for themselves and step into their genius and their power. And that's the way it needs to be.
That is so powerful. Dr. Jacalyn, what do you think? I know you try to make this miracle happen for the people that you serve as a coach.
Well, thank you. And first of all, I have 3 autoimmune illnesses, and I've kept them as a secret, and that was dragging me down up until 2018. And then I met the Crohn's Colitis Foundation employees and the president, and then all of a sudden I'm out there now talking about it all the time, because I just led the support group last night, and it's really liberating. When I work with my clients, what I will say to them is, I don't want you to keep coming back. I want us to be able to work together for as short a time as possible. I'm not here to just ring up the cash register, so to speak. I don't want to take as any amount of your money more than we have to. I want you to get back out there and on your own. So I totally appreciate what you're saying, Jenetta. We did have a follow-up comment from Diane. She's written a few things, but she's going to contact you on your website. So
you are so welcome, Diane. I look forward to having that very meaningful conversation with you, and huge amounts of empathy and love to you this evening.
And thanks for reaching out, Diane. That takes a lot of courage to do, and look at the connection you're making now. So I'd like to go and play this clip now. Would that be right, Jenetta?
Oh, that would be amazing.
All right, let's take a look. Wow, it's the second time today. I'm all.
It still gets me, and that song is very meaningful as well, as part of it's part of one of the dances in Sight in the theatrical production, and it's dedicated to my daughter Catherine, my other daughter. And just so many synergies to that production takes my breath away. So every time I look at that clip, I just go, wow, when you allow yourself to be guided on these things, and as you were saying, Al, there's a bigger connection to all of this. When that happens, magical things start coming out of the most difficult circumstances, and that production is magical. It's tough and it's magical at the same time.
It's so moving and so powerful, and I think the approach you've taken about touching people where they feel in their hearts by using art and dance, I think it's more of a mission than a business. I know this is the business talk show, and I do want to make a point for all the people out there that have heard your story now and understand what it is you're trying to accomplish. We want them to reach out to you for help, as Leanne has. We also want them to reach out to you with support. And so maybe you can spend a few minutes on what it is you're looking for and how people can help you with this.
Yes. You know, one of the big things I said when I first met you, Dr. Jacalyn, is I love the work I do. It's so inspiring watching people turn around. I don't get tired of it. But when you've got two nonprofits attached to your business, like Insight and World Jenny's Day, it takes a lot to fundraise. And I find that incredibly tiring. So finding the funds to put on Insight internationally, franchising it internationally as well, is my next thing. Obviously, COVID shut that down. I wanted it to start happening a good 2 years ago. But to get so that production's being performed all around the world, and people are starting those new conversations from that. And then, of course, to expand World Jenny's Day, it's had a huge impact already in this last year in 2021 and become pretty global with some wonderfully special people who have some clout attached to it. But our vision is to have World Jenny's Day on everybody's lips internationally, so that when the 10th of October comes through, they go, it's World Jenny's Day, a day to celebrate mental health wellness. And we're using the theatre and the arts, and all these things take a budget and a lot of time and application. So it's about people coming forward and volunteering their time, volunteering whatever their heart leads them to volunteer. If this is touching you and you would love to be a part of this, I and we would love you to be a part of it too. And what I loved about last year, especially the second year, was we had the skeleton. I put together the skeleton, I had the vision, and then we let it lead us. And so it brought us to creating an NFT art collection on the blockchain, a World Jenny's art collection. It led us to have DJs do a whole load of things for us. It led us to do many theatrical bits and pieces. I was blown away what we achieved. So we'd like to do the same and create something equally as meaningful this year that takes a budget and a group of people. So I'd love to invite you to join us.
Jenetta, thank you so much. Well, I have you on Spotlight. Can you share about some of the people who are supporting your work? We had one on earlier today on our show, Kev.
Yes. Kev Orkian is one of the first. He is a British comedian and entertainer. He's been on Britain's Got Talent. He's worked with some amazing personalities in his own right. What Kev hasn't achieved, and he's incredibly humorous. And we were talking today about his documentary on Armenia, and I found out you, Dr. Jacalyn, are Armenian, which was amazing. He's just such a kind-hearted person, and he is very passionate about World Jenny's Day and determined to help us. When we had World Jenny's Day this last year, he emceed it, and he started off saying, we've got to have a gala either in London or New York or somewhere with some pretty inspiring personalities and do something really big with that. So that's what we're looking at. And so that's Kev. We also have inspiring Vanessa, who I know has been on your show before now through Helena and Ian. And she's 15 years old. She was 14 when I approached her. And she's also a World Jenny's Day ambassador. And what this little girl doesn't do to inspire teenagers in the UK just blows my socks off. This last couple of days, we've just released her interviewing me on World Jenny's Day. And what a girl. She's going to make such a difference as she grows more and more, because she's already making such a difference. So she's the teenage mouthpiece for World Jenny's Day. And we've also got Emma Jane Taylor, who's a radio personality, and she and I have done a lot of radio work together, and she's a big advocate of ours. And another, I don't know if you've heard of her, Bella Angel. She's British, but very popular in the States as a golfer. She's only 21, 22 years old, and she's got a huge Instagram following from the States. She travels the world golfing, and she's also one of our ambassadors.
Quite a team you have there. Congratulations.
Yeah.
It is, and it's a
Thank you.
And what you do really is when you help people, you turn them into an ambassador. So that's how any movement grows. As people come to you, if you don't mind, Dr. Jacalyn, I'll bring up one comment from Diane again, who is offering to help next October 10th with Jenny's Day. She's somebody who needs help, and she said that, and she's reached out to you for that, but everybody knows that this is a problem for everybody else. And when you realize that you can help, you want to help, and that wanting to help helps you in return. It's a terrific kind of a dynamic back and forth thing. So you started something wonderful, and I just want to make sure that everybody out there understands that they can help you with contributions. They can help you by volunteering. We don't want them to forget that this is a mission that they can join and that they can support.
Yes, thank you. And yes, it's definitely the moment I started working on myself with all of this and helping others was the moment that I knew there was something much bigger than losing Jenny. And I mentioned also earlier today that I actually wake up every single day now thanking Jenny for what she's created. Because as much as having her around is something I miss like crazy, and all my other children have now got married, and I'm now a grandmother, and you wonder, and what would she have been like, and as much as that's there for the rest of my life, and processing that loss is there, it doesn't go away. I am so grateful for the fact that in her having left the way she has, and what's happened has also created something just beyond, that's bigger than she and me and anything. It's like universal. And that's the gift. It's given me a sense of a life purpose I had no idea was mine until it came disguised, and I thank her daily.
Yeah. So profound, and just I'm just so thankful that you are here today and sharing your story, because it can't be easy even after all this time, because she was your daughter still, and I just really admire you and appreciate you. A question I have for you, Jenetta, and Al's backstage again. He can bring himself on the stage. See, he's doing it on purpose.
I will.
But I would love if you, since we're on the business show, can you talk a little bit about the NFT and the blockchain and what it all is for people who are novices and don't understand it? Al, do you understand NFTs?
No, I don't. But
I was talking about you, by the way. No, I'm kidding.
Hopefully the internet will stay up long enough for me to learn about it.
Jenetta.
Oh, okay. So NFTs, I have to be honest, this time last year, if you'd said NFTs, I'd have gone, what are you talking about? No idea. Gobbledygook. Another thing to remember. But the journey that took me on, and the team that helped me take that on as they were learning, we were all teaching each other, and somebody was going on ahead of me and then coming back and saying this, that, and the other. And we were joining various groups of people who were already doing them. And an NFT, if I was to put it into very simplistic language, and it is on World Jenny's Day if you really want a more deeper insight into it. But on the blockchain, you've got all the different coins. You've got your crypto coin, and you exchange it, and you can have many of the same coin. You don't have just one. But where an NFT is different, you can use NFTs for anything and everything. But right now, it's been mostly used for art. Okay. And what happens is you register that piece of art on the blockchain, and it has its own unique registration code for life, number for life. And it's there for forever. It's like there in the ether almost. And it's uniquely its own. So it's a non-fungible token. That's what NFT means, which means there's only one of its kind. Nobody can copy it or do anything with it, because it is its own unique piece. And you don't just have the medium of drawing and painting and sculpturing. You can do it for videos, you can do it for songs, pieces of prose, whatever. You can register it as an NFT in the blockchain, and then it gets bartered like a piece of art. And the long-term ramifications of NFTs in terms of keeping people accountable, even down to the manufacturer of a packet of bacon, where that pig started, and it can all be registered there. So it can go way out of the art form, but right now it's mostly art. So it's really the way of the future. It's going to have a profound effect in that nobody can get away with anything the more that NFTs are used for everything, anything and everything, because it's there as a permanent record. So yeah, so we got a whole load of art. We got some people to donate art, and it's been registered there. One of the people's pieces of art that's on there is the person I am. She's my hostess at the moment, where I'm staying in Kenya, because I am actually from Kenya and I'm visiting at the moment. And Moira Earnshaw is the most beautiful artist. I don't know if you noticed in the poster of the theatrical production, in that clip was two white figures leaping. That's Moira's art. And she came through to the rehearsals of Insight and did a whole load of ink and watercolors, just sitting on the floor, capturing. They are beautiful pieces of art, and they've been put onto the blockchain as NFTs, and so has that painting. And the painting actually is in the room behind me, locked away at the moment in her studio, but it's an enormous oil painting, and she gifted it to us to raise funds. And my dream is to get it over to London and get it auctioned in a very specially different way at Christie's or somewhere like that as part of our fundraising. So that's where, so we had Moira come in and talk about her experiences, and as we launched that, we had a whole launch, an NFT launch. It's called a drop, actually, an NFT drop. So
yeah, thank you for that education and background. That was really helpful. It wasn't really for Al, it was for me. No.
I took the opportunity to do a quick lookup to the extent that my internet keeps working. And it benefits the artist too, that whole idea of the blockchain, because it eliminates brokers' fees, commissions. A lot of the value of an artist's work is lost to commerce. And when you directly connect to the value of the art, that's good for the artist too. So,
and certainly in the recording industry as well, because what's happening is a lot of recording artists are going straight with their work to NFT land, and there are a number of them is saying they're actually earning a living now.
Yeah, I think it's because from what I've heard from some musicians and performers is that the cut that they're getting from places where you can download music, that their cut is so small.
Yeah, absolutely. It's minuscule. So it's all good because it's going to create more and more transparency and authenticity, and nobody can squirm out of it. It's genius, really.
Well, connected with the people that you're reaching. I mean, I'm going to show one more comment. Diane said she needs to thank Jenny too, because she will have a purpose, and that I will have a purpose. That's a decision that people can make, isn't it? I mean, you can decide that you can move forward by connecting with something higher than yourself or bigger than yourself. Isn't that part of the way back from what you had to deal with?
Yes, it is a decision. And when you have that life-defining moment, and it doesn't have to be something big that's happened. In fact, often it's the most subtle thing that's happened that's the most life-defining. And you step forward and go, oh my gosh, I've still got choice, and there's hope there. And Diana, it really fills my heart to read what you've put there, because a lot of people have said to me, especially when they've read Full Circle Rainbow, there's a sense that they can feel Jenny's shining energy. It's like she's transformed and been able to communicate in a lighter way. She always used to complain that her throat was constricted and it always ached and nobody understood her, and she couldn't express herself accurately without being misunderstood. And people get a sense of her I wouldn't say energy, because that sounds really, really strange, but they get a sense of her and those possibilities that are always omnipresent. They just get hidden. And there's something within Jenny and that dynamic in what we're doing that people pick up on that and go, I feel inspired and hopeful. I can feel that sense of hope because of Jenny. And that's what, Diane, you've just said. And I think that's amazing already to hear that. Thank you.
It's really beautiful.
It certainly is. And again, thank you, Diane, for just putting yourself out there, right? And now you've made this connection with Jenetta, and we're just happy to have you share your feelings. I think she posted a lot of other comments, which we didn't get to. So for anybody who did, we apologize.
Well, it's clear she's become part of the movement, and she's welcomed at that. So great. Absolutely.
Wonderful.
Jenetta, I think we're going to let you go to sleep. You have had quite a long day.
I almost left my earpods off because I wanted to give you the sounds of Africa around me at the moment. Civilization is creeping in, and we're quite surrounded these days. When I was a child, these were open plains that led on to the Nairobi National Game Park, which is a natural game park, not a man-made one. But earlier this evening, the electricity was off, and when you haven't got the distraction of things around you, I could hear hyenas in the background. But right here in these trees around me is a very unusual animal, and it sounds almost prehistoric, and it sounds a bit like it's having its throat cut, but when you know what it is, it's the most amazing sound. It sounds like it's winding up. It goes and it does that about 10 times, and then it sounds like as though it's unwinding. It goes about 10 times. And it's the most cuddly looking tree hyrax, which it's got big little eyes, oxymoron. But anyway, it's got these beautiful eyes, and it's just the most gorgeous thing. And they live in the trees around here. And I nearly left my earpods off going, there it is.
Jenetta, it kind of sounds like you and Al doing your lip trills yesterday in the course.
Yes, I think it went, oh, you're there. Let me do it tonight.
And did you say it's a Hyrax?
Tree hyrax, Hyrax. It's actually a little furry creature about that big, but because of its toes and the way it's made, it's distantly related to the elephant. But it is essentially part of the rodent family, but they're just so special, and they're being compromised in their habitat as well, of course, with civilization coming in,
creeping in and taking over their space.
Yeah.
How long will you be there, Jenetta?
I'm here until the end of February, actioning a whole load of things on a personal level as well as a business level, including a fundraiser for World Jenny's Day, where people will have the opportunity to cycle through one of the game parks, cycle through. And then I'm heading on down to South Africa, where although my children grew up and went to school here, they're all down there. And my youngest daughter, Catherine's having her second baby. So I'm going to put my granny and mummy hat on and be down there for the first 2 weeks of March to be with Catherine.
Sounds very exciting. Now, this cycling, this event, just for somebody who doesn't know, is this, what's to keep the animals from coming near you while you're cycling?
You know, unless you're intimidating them or there's something very wrong with them, they keep themselves to themselves, first of all. You know, and a bicycle moving along is pretty swift moving anyway, but they're being done all the time. Actually, a childhood friend of mine that I went to school with, she and her husband run these safaris all the time. And this one, we were busy planning yesterday in a planning meeting. It's going to start at the foot of Mount Kilimanjaro and go through Savo West and in a little bit into Savo East, right up to the north coast, north of Mombasa, to a place called Watamu. And it's going to be, it looks like it's going to be a 5-day, 4-night event. So you'll be able to stay at different places. Some of them will be camps, some of them will be hotels, all through this. And people are doing them all the time and loving them. In fact, we're going to have, one of our other ambassadors is Karen Dark, Dr. Karen Dark, actually. And Karen is a British gold medalist, paraplegic medalist. She lost her ability to walk at a young adult age, and she cycled for Britain and got gold, and she's going to come through and cycle with us as part of it. So, yeah,
I saw her on the website. She's truly amazing.
You know what I love about, in fact, what I love about all our ambassadors is how open-hearted and normal and natural. You saw that with Kev today. There's no holds barred. He doesn't try to impress you. He tells you as it is from a very loving heart.
Yes.
And Karen's exactly the same. She's just lovely.
Well, that's because you're so lovely and you attract them.
Oh, well, thank you.
Will you be cycling also?
I'm not a cyclist. I'm a ballet dancer. That was me in that clip on stage there dancing. But I will very definitely be there because it looks like it's over my birthday. So I will be there to celebrate, and we'll raise a glass because it's starting, by the looks of it, on the 12th of June. And my birthday's on the 13th. And anyway, I would have been there anyway, but we're really going to make it special. So yeah, I'll be there. Sounds
like a fantastic event. Good luck with it. And Mr. al.cini, you're backstage. You can bring yourself out. What are you doing?
I'm here, but God only knows for how long. And the funny thing is, I'm exactly where I am all the time, whenever I do anything online. And for some reason, my internet provider is taking the day off. That's how it is.
It happens. You know, it is an occupational hazard online. This is
It just is. But I have to tell you, Jenetta, this is an interview I'm going to want to go back and rewatch for the parts that I missed. Definitely. It was such a great conversation with so much content and so much great heartfelt advice. So thank you for that.
Well, again, I want to thank you for the opportunity, because we have made a difference, as we said, to one person. And the more this gets out there, the more conversations will change and are changing. And I can't wait to create more of this. And it's such an honor and privilege to have you on board with this as well. So thank you both.
Beautiful. Thank you.
It's our pleasure. Thank you, Jenetta. And again, thank you for a great show earlier today. You were phenomenal. And for bringing Kev to the platform. I really like him a lot. Al, you have to check that show out if you didn't see it. He's just such a great guy. And he has a star on the Walk of Fame, right? Is that what it's called? The Walk of Fame in Hollywood.
Great.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
You
wouldn't think so when you talk to Kev. He's like the boy next door. It's like really, really, really special. And next week, in actual fact, if you want to catch up on the show with Dr. Jacalyn and me, we have Mark Deeks. And Mark is a phenomenal piano player. He's known as that piano guy. And he also helped with World Jenny's Day. He took a song that's very close to my heart, because my father was a record producer here in Kenya. And he took one of the most famous record, well, my father made it famous throughout Africa and even the world. And he took it for World Jenny's Day and got a choir that he has in UK to record it separately, because we were in lockdown. So they all recorded separately, and then he pieced, I think it was like nearly 50 people all together. We'll show the clip next week of them singing it and all being in harmony and the whole thing. So that's next week's.
Excited for that.
Okay.
All right, Jenetta, I'm going to let you go. You've put in a full day here and night, and it's just fascinating. I'm really glad for the connection with you and Diane as well. So Diane, thank you again for reaching out.
Thanks, Jenetta.
Love to you all, and love to everybody out there. Looking forward to getting to know you all more and more and more. And my heart's full after today. Thank you.
Beautiful.
Thank you. Lots of love to you. Bye. All right, are you going to stick around for the close, or are you going to drop off?
It depends. I probably do. At any moment, I could drop back off again. It pretty much depends on how the internet goes. But I have to tell you, that was a great conversation, and Jenetta is such a joy, such an important part of your network now, too, Dr. Jacalyn. And so again, thank you, Ian and Helena, for making that introduction. What a wonderful story, and what a wonderful movement. It's great to be a part of it.
Yes, it absolutely is. And thank you again for everything that you're doing and for being here week after week. I am going to spotlight you. And even though you didn't want to talk about it before, now you have to talk about your work. Tell us what's going on at BCAT.
Okay, let's see how long this lasts before the internet conks out. The Brand and Culture Alignment Toolkit is a way of connecting people in an organization with the purpose they serve. And I'm happy to report that we have several projects ongoing now with clients, and we're doing great work with research teams, with the university, and with a financial services company. And all of it is around finding that purpose that really represents the change that a company intends to make, very intentional, intends to make in the world that they serve. And it's one great story after another, kind of like USA Global TV, and it's just a lot of fun. So anybody who wants to reach me can do that through my email address, al.cini, al.cini @getbcat.com.
Thank you. And Al, while you're here, would you like to talk a little bit about the work that Lisa Manioki is doing? And she's got something coming up.
She does. I think she's got, well, it's Lisa has built a platform for coaches called Presence Intelligence, which is a means of coaching the entire person. And Dr. Jacalyn, I know that kind of speaks to your heart and soul, because that's important to you. And in the coaching world, a lot of coaches focus on a particular area. It could be the way you look, or it could be the way you speak, or it could be your business. But what people have are problems that are bigger than just the one symptom they bring to a coach. And often the conversation needs to be broadened around everything that they need in order to actually help them get the outcome they want. Presence Intelligence is a platform she's built that broadens the conversation with a coaching client to include all of the levers and all of the knobs that you can adjust to live a better life and to be more successful in your business. She's introducing it again. It's several years old, but she's been introducing it. If you go to presenceintelligence.com/events, you'll find a link that you can use to sign up for a webinar that she's conducting tomorrow at 3 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time.
Keep talking. I'm typing, please.
Good. Thank you. I know she'll appreciate that. And, if you're a coach or a consultant or a trusted advisor and you're looking for a way to structure a conversation with your client so that you cover all the bases, Presence Intelligence is a great way to do that. So I'm going, and I'll look forward to seeing as many of you out there as we can. I think you'll find it very enlightening, very interesting, and it's a terrific coaching tool.
Absolutely. And Lisa Manioki was on our team from the beginning. She was on It's All About Dating. And she's just a wonderful person. So we want to acknowledge her.
And I know she'll appreciate the support you're offering here too. So thank you, Doc.
Thank you. Oops, Mr. al.cini, we're going to say goodbye for now. Any final comments from you?
No, that, just get to know more about Jenetta. I mean, definitely visit her website and learn more about this mission. And I think it's so tragic that especially young people feel as though they have no alternative except to exit what could be a wonderful, rewarding, fulfilling life way too soon. And too many people make that choice. They feel like they have no alternative, and anything that anybody can do to help turn that around is serving a very important purpose in society.
Absolutely. Thank you again, Al. It's been great having you here. I look forward to chatting with you soon.
Thank you, Doc. Talk
thanks
soon.
to your kitty.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye, everybody.
Thank you, everyone. It's been such a wonderful day of broadcasting, and I just appreciate all of you, and I'm so grateful for your support and your loyalty. As I mentioned, every show we stream all together, whether it's live or on the podcast, at 17 platforms, and I'd love everybody to go over to our YouTube channel because I want to shut down some of these other things because it's a lot of work, to be honest with you. So if we're all in one place, that would be USA Global TV, and we're just building up our channel, so we don't have zillions of people there, but we will, and you can be one of them. So if you like our content, go over to our channel, click subscribe, and you'll see there are playlists, and each of our shows are in playlists so that we make it easy for you to find your favorite show and your favorite co-host. I want to just salute all of my co-hosts. They're doing a great job. It might look like you just get up here and start talking, but that is not the case. There are all kinds of little things that take place behind the scenes, and we have to hope and pray that technology is on our side. So our next show is coming up in a couple of hours. It's Talking Heads, starring Mariska Duprier. She's one of our expert presenters, and she'll be joining us from New Zealand. That's at 5 p.m. Eastern Time, which is 10 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time. And where Jenetta is, I have no idea. I hope you'll be long asleep, Jenetta. Long fast asleep. All right. Thank you again, everyone. We really appreciate your engagement and your support. We'll see you in a couple of hours. Bye.